Well, good morning. We're here with Ernie Rodriguez of E&R Quality Painting here in New Tampa, Wesley Chapel. And Ernie, thank you very much for being with us. You've got a really neat business. You've been at this for quite a while, and you're well regarded in the Tampa Bay area for your professionality. So we have a question for you. How do you price a job? How does somebody figure out, like, what is the price of a painting job worth? Can you talk us through that? And like, is it square footage? Is it based on size of rooms, etc.? Maybe all the above. Please tell us.
Well, basically, I go by the square footage. I typically ask the homeowner what the square footage of the house is, or basically room. And in the exterior, I ask what the square footage is, and then I write that down, and then I go and I measure. And I compare what I get with my square footage, what the house square footage is. And typically, I use square footage. And the reason why I go by the square footage is I can be consistent with my pricing. If I just give you a number off the top of my head, it could be one price today, it could be a different price tomorrow. So by going by the square footage, everybody gets typically the same price. So it is consistency in there. On the interior as well, what I do is I measure the walls. I just don't go measure length times width. I measure the wall square footage by the height, and that's where I get my pricing. And on the bigger jobs, if it's a whole house, then I can use the full square footage of the house. But typically, very rarely you do a complete house. So I just go in and I measure the walls that are going to be painted.
Sure, that makes sense, because you could have a 9-foot ceiling, or you could have a 14 or 16-foot ceiling, and that'll make a big difference in the amount of paint and the amount of work that you have to do.
That is correct.
Interesting, very interesting. Is that pretty much standard in the industry, Ernie, that you see in terms of the way painters or painting contractors price deals? Or is it kind of all over the place?
I typically don't see my competitors when they're estimating, but when I get feedback from my customers is I'm usually the only one that measures. A lot of my competitors, they just go in there and they give you a price off the top of their head. And a lot of it, they have a lot of experience. They've done it before, so they're comfortable with that. I can work it that way, and usually you have a number already in your head, but I like to measure and compare what I have in my head to what comes out on paper.
Well, it's much more scientific, I would imagine, and then this way the client's much more comfortable with understanding how you back into figuring out what that number should be, and I guess they feel a lot more comfortable with that.
I've gotten a lot of accolades for measuring, because a lot of customers say, oh, you're going to measure, because the other guy didn't measure. And again, the reason why I measure is I can have consistency in my pricing, and it's not a feeling, and everybody pretty much gets the same price for the same amount of square footage.
And I would imagine, because you have employees, you have people that work for you, so you have to cost the job out properly, so you know exactly to the penny kind of what you're paying them for the amount of work that they're going to do and how much time it's going to take.
Yeah, that's correct, because I do have a lot of overhead. Because I have employees, I carry workman's comp, I carry liability, so I have to factor all that into my price in order so I can pay my employees. I pay for the cost of paint, because my estimates do include the cost of the paint. So when you get an estimate, it's a full service. It's not, you have the paint, and I'll give you a labor price. Even though I've done it, if the client does have the paint already, I can do that as well. But typically, I like to provide everything. It just makes it easier on the customer and easier on myself.
Excellent. Well, Ernie, thank you very much for your time.